Hi there, this video is to show how to finally set up the 6-wire Toyota 1UZ idle air control valve. Here is a diagram of the harness on the valve. B1 and B2 are as wired at the factory 12 volts. S1, S2, S3, and S4 are grounded to move the valve. Here is the valve in question, just a bench testing unit. Should look familiar thusly. Here you can see the valve is fully opened. The pintle is in the down position, allowing air to pass through. This particular valve is 140 steps from open to closed. I tested that with the system outlined here in the factory service manual. Just keep 12 volts on B1 and B2 and ground in order S1, S2, S3, and S4. Each one of those is a step, and eventually the entire thing will move to where it needs to be. Now, first, the most important thing is this wiring. Finally, I figured this one out. I haven't seen any documentation, or maybe I'm just blind from reading so much, but this is how the wiring must be. S1, S2, S3, and S4, go to those. And these numbers reference the DIYAutotune.com's harness, which is pretty awesome, but, you know, they all go back to that same big pin. Now, the settings I used are here, and it's definitely moving only. Don't leave it on. It gets pretty warm. I don't think it gets boiling lava hot, so it's not a big deal, but this works perfectly. 5 milliseconds for the time step is the slowest, or the lowest I could go. Any slower than that, and it gets really erratic. I started off at 10, and that works pretty well too, but lower is better, so I went with that. Again, 140 steps for the start value. That is the largest maximum opening, basically, and you want 1 minimum steps to move. The rest of the stuff is pretty variable. Most people, as per the Mega Manual, say don't need the time-based after start, so if you set that to -40, it should pretty much rule out ever getting there. Here is the testing. Now, this is something I've learned from experience here. I couldn't find any type of, idiot's guide to this stuff. So when you set the steps in the idle valve step, this guy here, this 140 number, that is telling it to open that far. And that corresponds with this button, Enable Test Run Position. So whatever you put here, that's the position from 0 to whatever, that's where it's going to open to. Now this first one, the idle valve homing step, is kind of confusing and unintuitive. I have it set to 70 here, and what that means is that it is going to return to 0 from whatever position it was at in the number of steps you put here. So right now I have 70, which means when it's at 140 all the way open and you touch this button, Enable Test Home Position, it will start to go back to 0. Once you press this button, 70 steps to 0. You press it again, another 70 steps to 0. So if this was 10, it would take 14 button presses to go from 140 to 0. Now, I don't know why this was so complicated or written this way, but, we all think differently, and so there we go. We got to learn. So anyway, I'll show you. There's the valve. Now, it's fully open right now, so I'm going to hit the home position, it's still at 70 steps. There it moves out 70. There it moves out another 70. If I hit it again, doesn't move. Now if I hit run position, that was set at 140, which is fully open. We see it fully open. And once again, home position. And fully open. I hope this helped, and good luck to you all, and happy tuning.